Here's another Big Brother exit interview for Big Brother 26.
Questions are from Mick at Cinema Blend. First question was, you aligned yourself with Angela in the game, who seemed like the wild card of the season. Were you ever worried you might get on her bad side?
I recognize Angela was the wild card of the season. She's a passionate firecracker, but one thing about her is everyone that she called out on anything, she was usually right. Maybe not with the best delivery, but she always made a point. And even though at times I felt maybe a little worried about what she would do next, I ultimately prioritized gaining her trust and including her. And I knew for a fact she would stay loyal to me and take me far in the game. I felt like we had a relationship beyond the game, and I really believe that she would have stuck to that and stayed true to our relationship at the end of the day. And I'm very confident in that.
And then, second question, do you think your HOH might have gone differently had you not been trapped outside in Janky's world, where people could see everything that was happening?
Lack of privacy was definitely one of the largest takebacks of my HOH week. I didn't get the luxury of having private conversations and being able to discuss all of the different outlets amongst the other house guests of how they saw the game going. And I ultimately think that that was a huge contributor of why I made the decisions that I did. There was so many other factors, but had I had the time to fully discuss with everyone in private and talk through everyone's strategies, I think that I might have come to a different decision. However, I made the decision that was right for me at the time. I stand on it. I don't regret it. And I'm very proud of myself for winning that HOH, even if it got janked up in the end.
And that is it from Cinema Blend. Then we have our questions from Girl Let's Agree to Disagree. Question one was, who do you want to see follow you into the Big Brother house or the jury house?
Right. Um, it's hard to say because I recognize whoever follows me into the jury house is another person watching their dream go down the toilet, unfortunately. But I would have to say I kind of hope that it's either Chemo or Cam because I'm really loving the girl power this season. And I truly hope that it's two women sitting there in the final two chairs because I think that it would be so iconic and powerful.
And question two from Girl Let's Agree to Disagree. It felt at times that you floated between alliances. How do you think your strategy impacted your relationships with other house guests, and do you believe it ultimately contributed to your eviction?
I'm very proud of how far I made it in the game by being a lone wolf. I think it's very hard in Big Brother to not commit to an alliance, but I truly believe that only fools rush to take sides, and I wanted to be very confident in every single person if I chose to commit to an alliance. I think that ultimately, in the end, you do have to commit to a side because quickly you see that there are groupings, and if you're not a part of those groups, then you are in the middle and very at risk. So, because I didn't commit earlier, I think that that could have been a reason for my demise, so to speak. But I still wouldn't change a thing. I believe that my social game was strong enough to not have me put up for 9 weeks. I think that's something to absolutely be proud of. And I think I would not change a thing about that.
And those are from Girl Let's Agree to Disagree. Next questions are from the TV water cooler. First question is, what are you looking forward to discussing the most with the other jury members?
I am looking forward to discussing everything with the other jury members. I cannot wait until we can talk about all of our own strategies and our relationships with the other house guests. But most of all, I really look forward to getting to know them on a personal level when we're not all fighting for a pot of gold. I think it's going to be really fantastic to get to know them as people outside of such a stressful and competitive environment.
And then second question, if you could have written a zing for Zingbot to say, what would it have been and to which house guest?
I think if I could write a zing, it would be to my lovely ally, Angela. Angela, are you louder when you're awake or when you're asleep? We can't tell. Zing. Because she is always snoring when she sleeps. So, yeah, I think that that's the one that I would write.
Love it. And that wraps up questions from the TV water cooler. We now have our questions from Secret Alliance, who asked, can you please share who you believe has the strongest gameplay at the moment and the reasons behind it? And who do you think has the potential to go far in the house?
I think that everyone that's left in the house has a very unique and impressive strategy so far, and that's why that they're still here. Um, as far as people that I'm super impressed by, I would say Chelsea is a very calculated, strategic player. She knows exactly what she's doing. I'm very proud of the way that she's played this game and still, even though she's a very large threat, has laid low and under the radar. Insane to me. Mackenzie's so impressive with all of her competition wins, officially tied with Tucker. That's so iconic in my opinion. But I am also very impressed by Cam, laying very low and just being carried through. And the way that Rubina and Chemo haven't, won so much, but are still very insulated and protected on a personal level from the other house guests. But ultimately, I really hope to see either Mackenzie or Chelsea or even Angela. Angela's game is so impressive because, listen, she is a wild card. She's very passionate and she's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way and still had 3 vetoes placed around her neck, won 2 HOHs, won a veto. She's 51. She's so strong and determined. I'm so impressed by her game, and I cannot believe that she has the record that she has. It is absolutely incredible, and I'm rooting for all of the women. I really hope that a woman wins this season.
And then second question, how do you feel about being evicted the first time you were nominated, and do you regret not making any specific moves or alliances that could have changed your fate?
I cannot believe I even went 9 weeks without being on the block, especially with 4 and sometimes 5 people going up in the beginning weeks. I truly, though, would not change a thing. I think if I aligned myself too quickly with the other alliances similar to the other house guests, that I would not have lasted nearly as long as I did. And I think it's very easy to say if I did this or that, things would have gone differently. But I think I lasted so long in the game because I didn't do those things. And I really think that even towards the end, whenever I wanted to align myself with people, it still didn't work out. So people have their minds made up. If you're not in their plan, you're just not there. And I really have no bad blood towards anyone. I'm so grateful to have made it this far, and I would not change a thing.
That is for Secret Alliance. And our final question is from the Royalty Podcast, who asked, is there one moment you can point to as the beginning of the end for you, especially after not having been nominated for 9 weeks? Who do you believe is ultimately responsible for putting you on the block and getting you evicted? Was there any hope for you to stay by making your case?
I think that I am the reason why I was put up there. It wouldn't be fair to blame anybody else. I think that towards the end, I started to be just a little too open with too many people, whereas I was very much more reserved and calculated in the beginning of the game. I think that I can pinpoint to the demise of my own self by looking at just being too open with people about what my next moves were. And had I just kept those moves to myself, I think that I would have lasted at least another week. I tried pleading my case and letting people know and have some insight into my strategy, but I don't think that pleading my case anymore would have made me last any longer in the game. I think that by that point, they had already made their decision and recognized that I was the threatening player and were just looking for any reason to get me out. So, with that being said, I did it to myself and I'm very okay with that. I think it's much easier for me to accept that way. I could not blame it on anyone else. And I truly wish all the best and am rooting for whoever walks out of there a winner.
Right. Thank you, Leah. That completes the questions from the Royalty Podcast and our press pool. So I will end that.